Any qualification. That means even though we don't come to any state, please understand, that means a sadhaka is not in any state, but still they will receive the highest thing. Dear devotees, actually, sometimes I think about this. Arey, I carry no qualification, but still the mercy is flowing. How is this mercy flowing? The qualification is not there. Oh, today I had that experience. I had no qualification, but still the mercy is flowing. Why the mercy is flowing? Because it is not due to our master's degree, or it is not due to our position like software manager or this, that. It is not due to our being born into good family. It is not that our father has taken us to a temple since our childhood. It is not due to any of those things. It is simply of a pure devotee's prayer, not today also. That pure devotee's prayer he has done once for us. He has spent some time for us. That spending some little time for us, that spending of little time, that prayer which he has done at that particular moment, now that is what we are receiving the mercy today. Dear devotees, I'll tell you something. Pure devotee association is very rare. I know. I know how and why the pure devotee association is very rare. Because wherever we go, no one gives the full conviction or aspiration to continuously do pure devotional service. Please understand. Because why am I saying this is Durlabho Manushudevo Jenturdevo Upapadyate. Kshanakala, that association with those pure souls, pure true representatives of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada. I thought Srila Prabhupada, please understand, Srila Prabhupada could have completed all his business in Vrindavan only. But why he went to West? There's a reason for that, dear devotees. That means he had to give up all his, he sacrificed all his spiritual life also. Dear devotees, is there no chance that Prabhupada leaving the body while going to America? Prabhupada actually knows because his body is very weak. He's already in the age of 70. He knows that Prabhupada actually knows that there is a chance, there is a greater chance of he leaving the body in Jaladuta itself. He knows that before he boarded that Jaladuta also. That means what is he doing? He is going counter. Whereas when he can stay in Radha Damodar temple and then he can continue his Krishna consciousness and go back home back to Godhead. But he left all that. He left all that comfort. And then he went to an unknown place. Who will do that, dear devotees? And then why they have to do in their life? There is no reason. There is Hare Krishna, Tarani Radhe. So there is no reason, dear devotees. Why there is no reason? Because he has done what he is supposed to do. He could have simply left. But he went against everything he did, against all the odds. If you really think about that, was the greatest thing actually. Against all the odds. He crossed against all the odds. He knows he could have left the body, he could have left the body, but he took all the trouble. Why? To give Krishna consciousness to every to that to give that come not just to spread this. Yes, spreading will also happen. But what is the greatest essence? Is to make one pure soul. Please understand. Prabhupada actually writes in the preface, my whole Bhagavad Gita, my preaching, my giving up of all these things, my me coming to US and then giving this Krishna consciousness, the whole thing will be fructified to make one pure soul. That's what he writes in the preface of the Gita. That means pure soul is very, very rare. Please understand. It's not easy to find pure souls. It's very rare, even though they are available. It's not available. They are not readily available to give the association. It's very rare to get their association. Now that kind of understanding we should realize. That's what I was thinking. "Arey, how is it the mercy is flowing? Exactly, exactly. What is the reason? It is due to the prayers of the pure devotees. Otherwise, dear devotees, without the prayers of the pure devotees, there is no existence for us. You know how difficult this material nature is? The desire to enjoy this material world is so rampant. The moment we come or participate in some program, there is a chance, there is an every chance of body to deteriorate. Did service for a few days, did service for a few months, there is a chance of body to deteriorate. That means the body is not congenial. It doesn't allow us. It doesn't allow us to stay in that state of communion and then do that service. That means among all the arts, still we are able to hear, still we are able to read, still we are able to chant. Means what is that? How is that coming? Is that through our endeavors? It is a prayer from those devotees. It is a sacrifice of Acharya Srila Prabhupada. It is his sacrifice. It is his moment. That's why whoever has little sincerity to really understand, forget about doing it, really understand what this Krishna consciousness is, it will take some years to understand. And after understanding, when we practice to do that, that is another state. Actually, this is the greatest thing, dear devotee. I'll tell you, there is nothing higher than this. Prabhupada is mentioning through that communion, when the sadhaka, when the soul, when the jiva is completely immersed in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that means he is actually interacting with the Lord. The Lord is there in the heart. He's interacting. How does the interaction will happen? Do you see the Lord personally? No, you might not. But you can feel their presence. That means you will do only those activities which is pleasing the Lord. Today, it's a very beautiful discussion in the morning. Hearing from a spiritual master, it's very, very amazing, dear devotees. He was sharing his prayers since he started Krishna consciousness. He shared one beautiful prayer, dear Lord. He said, "Oh, my dear Lord, please always engage me in such a way so that I'm never displeasing you." Wow, this is a great prayer. That means never displeasing Supreme Personality of Godhead means that means no matter what situation he has been kept in, if that is pleasing the Lord, he is ready to do that. That is something extraordinary. Why that is extraordinary? Because, and that is actually the representation of Ashlishava Padaratam Pinastumam, Adarshanam Maramahatam Kardeto Toto Vidutotulam Puto Matprana Natastu Sayavanapara. My dear Lord, you can put me in whichever situation you want, but never throw me away. And give me situations and circumstances so that I can always remember you. Ainanda tanuj kinkaram patita mam vishame bhavam. Oh, my dear Lord, somehow or hook or crook, I've been fallen into this material world, life after life, and then been rotten into this materialistic existence. There is no happiness here, but I'm thinking that there is happiness here. That is another falsification. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsura. Even the personalities like Brahmaji, they can be bewildered in this world. What to speak about me? We can be easily bewildered in this world without any exceptions. Are we the exception in this world? I don't think so. We are the exception. Our chanting or our initiation, our chanting of 16 rounds or reading, is that helping us? It will help. It will help us to accept those difficulties. But that doesn't mean that difficulties doesn't come to us. We are also prone. We are also part of this material nature. We are also affected by these three modes of material nature. The sadhaka is affected. Who says that sadhaka is not affected? Sadhaka is affected. where the sadhaka has to realize that he's affected. The moment the sadhaka realizes that he's affected by these three modes of material nature, unless and until that point is established into his life, his humility is not real humility. His humility is fake humility. We have to see, we have to. That's why before you see the Lord, you actually see the material nature. How you see the material nature? In detail, in toto, fully, with full focus, full concentration, full consciousness. With the full consciousness, you have to really get the revelation of this material world, of how this material world is working, how these three modes of material nature are working. Because when we actually see this, then we slowly crawl further, and then come to next stage. Because when we see the difficulty, just like Arjuna has seen the difficulties in Gita. In chapter 1, Arjuna has seen difficulties. Through these difficulties, he is understanding the power of this material nature. He has so much knowledge. We don't have any knowledge. But Arjuna has so much knowledge. Even after having so much knowledge, still he is baffled up. Hara Brahmaji is getting baffled up there. Brahma is pure devotee, Arjuna is pure devotee. They get baffled up with this world. Please understand, these personalities, Dene Brahma, Hridayadi Kavai, these personalities are getting baffled up. That means this illusion, this world is very powerful. All of a sudden it will show something, and then it will stray away our consciousness from one state to the other state. We don't realize. Immediately we've been kept from Sattva Guna to Rajva Guna. Now, how that Sattva Guna is established? Again, through the association of the pure souls. But what is happening in the illusory state? The illusory state will always try us to pull from Rajo to Tamo, or Sattva to Raja, or Rajo to another state of Rajo. That means goodness is pulling us to Rajo, and Rajo is again pulling us to Tamo. This Tamo again comes to Rajo. But to again come to Sattva, again come to Shuddha Sattva, one requires Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita under devotee association. When we take that association, when we take the Acharya's association continuously, what happens is, then we can actually see and feel, I've been pulled into this state. Oh, I've been pulled into Rajo. Oh, this is what Rajoguna is. Oh, this is Tamoguna. Oh, this is not good to me. Oh, I get up early in the morning. My mind is telling sleep. My intelligence is not working great because it is filled with Tamo. During the state of Tamo, intelligence doesn't work. That doesn't mean that you don't have intelligence. You have intelligence, but at that state, you don't have intelligence because the Tamo is covering up your intelligence. What is Tamo? Tamo means darkness. In darkness, do you have light? There is no light. That means the realization which you got yesterday, that realization is not being disclosed or exposed early. I'm giving an example to understand how these gunas are working. The realization which you shared yesterday, that realization is not coming up in the morning today, means we need to understand that Tamo is actually dominating the realization which we received through the association of the pure devotee. Pure devotee is trying to give. Acharyas are trying to give us that association. But that association is what is happening is that association is getting hampered. Through what? Gunas. Because gunas are there. Because where are we? Are we in Goloka? No, we are in Buloka. What is Buloka filled with? Just like during the COVID time, the coronavirus is everywhere. Coronavirus is there. You don't see the coronavirus, but we see the people getting affected. Thousands and lakhs of people died due to COVID. That means coronavirus is actually working. I don't see coronavirus, but it is actually working. It is there. That is, it is there in the atmosphere. It is there in the body. From person to person, it is being transmitted. That's why we should have protective measures to withhold that corona, right? That means it is there. That means we are affected. We are affected. It is being seen because people are dying. But this thing, the trigunas, we don't see. This is just like corona cannot be seen. Trigunas also cannot be seen. But corona's external actions or the output result, we can see that because people are doing. But how can we see that trigunas are actually working? Is we have to see our heart and we have to see the world. Ascharyavat Kaschidenam, Ascharyavat Kaschidenam. Krishna is telling this entire world is Ascharya. His creation is Ascharya only. It's amazing. It's amusement. It's amazing. Simply amazing. But this is Krishna's creation. This is Ascharya only. But what is this happening, dear devotees? What is this Ascharya showing us? What is this Ascharya doing us? This Ascharya is not keeping us in that state of Ascharya continuously. Why this Ascharya is not an Ascharya for us is because the modes are working on us. It is due to ignorance. Because this Tamogan is always dominating. Through this domination, what is happening? The Sattva is limited, is becoming limited. Is actually thinking about this. Because how this Sattva is limited? Because we hear the class is great, we discuss, oh, this is great, Krishna consciousness is great, oh, we have to take, we have to do this, we have to do that. This is great. But what happens after that? After that, what is happening is the gunas are dominating us. During the discussion, also gunas are there, but our focus is not on the gunas. Our focus is on the absolute truth. Our focus is on the words of the acharyas. Our focus is on how communion is being established with the jiva and the Lord, as has been told by Srila Prabhupada mercifully. That communion, when your consciousness is absorbed in the communion, naturally you come to the state of sattva. A devotee was asking this during a lunch break. Oh Prabhu, how is this? Why is this consciousness always bewildered like this? Why the consciousness early in the morning consciousness is good, or afternoon the consciousness is different, evening the consciousness is different, and again we come in the morning, again the consciousness comes to back to normal. How is it like that? Why the consciousness is not continuously staying in that state? Because we are not taking that kind of association. As simple as that. We are not inspired to take that kind of association. We are inspired to take the association of the absolute truth, of the association of the pure devotees, only when pure devotees are present. But when the pure devotees class is done, or when they leave us, when we were discussing about this, when our spiritual master leave us from the class, and when he's engaged in his services, and when he gave our services, his services, he's continuing the absorption which he carried in the class, but we don't carry the absorption after the class. Due to that reason, the state of transcendental goodness is being moved to goodness. The goodness is being moved to Rajo. Rajo is moved to Tamo. And we stay in Tamo. And that Tamo is carried in the morning. Due to that reason, we don't get up early in the morning. We don't aspire to sleep early in the morning. That is also reason of Tamo. And Rajo, because we are continuing work, 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 work is work, work is work, work is work. What is this work doing? Pig is also doing work. You see, ants, they do continuous work. Does that mean that ant is in the transcendental state? Ant is not in the transcendental state. Ant is in some other state. It's in complete Rajo. That Rajo is only. Now Hiranyakashipu is also doing tapasya. In which state the tapa is Raja? Why the austerity is in Raja? Because he has an expectation out of it. Likewise, our so-called taking of the process, if it is filled with some expectations, that means the process is mixed with something else. That is what the sloka essence is. Krishna is telling become free from fruitive, not become fruitive. Become fruitive means is Rajo. That means the truth is also mixed with Rajo. When the truth is mixed with Rajo, what happens? I don't get the essence of the truth because I'm still hanging on the surface. I don't want to go into the details. Dear devotees, one thing is for sure. This is very practical. Do you all know we die? We all know we die. Don't we know we die? We die one day. We might accept or not accept, we die. If we know we die, then why am I accumulating? Due to Rajo. Due to Rajo, I accumulate so much. I know I'm dying, but still I accumulate. Dear devotees, nothing is ours in this world. Please understand. Whoever understands this, he is in sattva. And this, not just this understanding or knowing one thing, oh, this is a point, let me write it down. This is one point. No, no, no. You have to carry through that. You have to go through that. When we go through that, what happens is that sattva becomes condensified and that becomes Shuddha sattva. And the sattva is not condensified, when the sattva doesn't go to Shuddha sattva, this sattva will come to Raja because it cannot stay in sattva. That means it doesn't stay in one state. You have to do something to continue that one state. For example, let's say you want to stay in sattva, but you're continuously working on something or you're doing another activity which is leading to tamo. That means you are doing something. That is something which you are doing that should elevate your consciousness, not degrade your consciousness. Generally, whatever that something we are doing is degrading the consciousness, due to which we don't actually experience the experience the pure devotees are experiencing. Just like Krishna is telling Ashchara, for him it is Ashchara, for pure souls it is Ashchara. Why this Ashchara is not Ashchara to everyone? Simple answer, a spiritual master gave, it is ignorance. And when we think further about this, it is pure ignorance actually. Due to that reason, the pure devotees are very compassionate to the jivas because they understand jiva are already suffering. Why I should put them down? Their devotees, there is no point to put anyone down. We have to understand our nature and we have to come out of it. This is not to anyone particular. This is to check to everyone's heart. This is not to pinpointing one person. No, no, no. This is the intricacies which are there behind this material nature, which are actually troubling us and stopping us to practice pure devotion. These are the aspects which are actually stopping us to move forward in our Krishna consciousness. Because when we don't understand this, what happens? Whatever we are doing, we feel that that is bhakti. Okay, once let us take that whatever we are doing, we feel that is bhakti. Let us take that. Okay, then if we feel that it is bhakti, then when we chant Hare Krishna, why the hair is not standing on the end? Why the tears are not flowing in from the eyes? I don't have to imitate that. That should come naturally. Now, why those things are not coming naturally means our bhakti is not in the state with our acharyas are telling us. We are doing bhakti, but it is not in that state. So for to come to that, what we should do? Do we have to get initiated? I'm not saying that we don't have to get initiated. I was also initiated. Not saying that one shouldn't get initiated. No, we should get. But the thing is, we need to understand that is not the end of bhakti. That is actually beginning. And if you go forward, even forward, when you really meet your spiritual master and you feel that this is my life and soul, I have to surrender to this personality. He's my mother. He'll take care of me. He'll send me back home, back to my dad. When you realize that pure devotee association, which can be Diksha Guru, which can be Shiksha Guru, which can be combination of both Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. When you realize that he is my mother, I have to take a shelter. That is the beginning of your Krishna consciousness. That means all that life which you did, all the practice which you did is to get that association. Because from that point of time, your devotion is something else. Because your devotion is actually pure devotion. That is what exactly Prabhupada is mentioning. Communion with the super soul, which is sitting in the heart. How the super soul will give that access? Because the super soul is pleased by the service which we have done to that pure soul. Shushrushaya. Bhagavatam first shloka, second shloka discloses. Dear devotees, yesterday also we were discussing about that. Very important aspect. Shloka number 28. One second. Look, sloka number 29. Prabhupada is mentioning Krishna can, however, be known by the causeless mercy of the pure devotee, by no other way. Because Prabhupada is writing, because Prabhupada knows he received that mercy through that way only. That's why he is writing that. This is Prabhupada's realization. What a what a beautiful process this is, dear devotees. Prabhupada is writing the communion. That means through this mercy of the pure soul, through their prayers, the access to Krishna consciousness is given to us. That means you will be able to establish the relationship with the Chaitya Guru which is sitting in the heart. And after that, whatever you do is completely pure devotion. Because you got that conviction, you got that mercy. Just like the the pure devotees who came in the previous life of Narada Muni. Narada Muni in his previous life, he was a servant of, he is son of a maid. That Mataji, she was serving the exalted Vaishnavas. And then that Mataji, she told his son, who is Narada Muni in his previous life. He told, and then she requested, can my son also serve? They said yes. Then Narada Muni was serving them, serving. Shushusha is doing that service, hearing and serving, he's doing. And then he said, can I accept your reminence? They said, yes, please accept. Because they pleased him. And after accepting that reminence, he is not an ordinary person. His consciousness is completely changed, transformed. He is in an elevated state. He received that full, he saw mercy, he saw the Lord face to face. That means that the communion of the Lord is established in his heart. Now, how is that happening? Just see his submission. The advantage, don't we see the submission and surrender in his life? Yes. The moment his mother left, at that moment he actually, Bhagavatam says, he spoke to the Lord, oh my dear Lord, I had one relation in this world. Oh, you have removed that relationship also. Oh my dear Lord, I will spend my complete time in your absorption. And then through that absorption, he goes deep into the forest and then begins the meditation. Because this was in Satyuga. The process of Satyuga is meditation. Not now. Kali Yuga, there's no meditation, Baba. We don't understand. People are making fools, everyone. People, impersonalism, they're making everyone fool in this world. The so-called societies of impersonalism, practice of impersonalism, what are they making? They're making everyone fools. Why? They do so-called meditation. They think that this is spirituality. What is this spirituality? You do meditation and do sense gratification side by side. What is that spirituality? Is that called a spirituality? It is not called a spirituality. But people don't understand that. That's what Prabhupada is mentioned. Prabhupada proclaims about that. The last snare of Maya is impersonalism. People are suffering, worried so much. They think that, oh, I do meditation and I'll see God, but I'll become God. That means, is God something so cheap? You do some meditation, become God. He's not cheap. Janmadasya tonmayad itaratasarchit abhignaswarat. Itaratasarteshu abhignaswarat. He is abhignaswarat. All powerful person. It is Swarat. Abhigna is the beginning. First Janma. Adi Aste Itaha. Is the root for everything. Are that person, are you become that person just like you do some meditation. What is this foolishness is? Bhagavatam is the answer to all the questions. So this, when you understand the communion is a so vital factor, dear devotees, that has to be established. And that comes through utmost developing deep submission. And be ever grateful. Gratitude is required, dear devotees, is a key to everything. Gratitude is actually a gateway to have a deeper relationship. Saying people generally have the meaning of gratitude. Just say thank you as your just way of expressing gratitude. No, gratitude is so deep. It's a deep to the heart. You're always feeling their presence. That is real gratitude. Just like Prahlad Maharaj is seeing always the presence of his spiritual master Nardamuni continuously. How do we know that he's seeing the presence of Nardamuni continuously? Because when Narasimhadev came, he appreciates his spiritual master. It's a secret. What is he doing? That person, pure soul, Prahlad Maharaj, he appreciating. How is he appreciating spiritual master? Oh, my dear Lord, what will I do coming to your spiritual world? Let me stay here and then serve my spiritual master because you have given me so much. Wow, beautiful. This is gratitude. This gratitude has to be established. I have no gratitude. I want to cultivate. It's very important because gratitude is what, dear devotees? It's like your expression of love to them. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. Let me tell them. Let me read that line. Now, beautiful, dear devotees, this is. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service, out of transcendental love, does he award the pure knowledge of devotion in love. What a line, dear devotees. Let me read this again. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those, and to those devotees who are always engaged, that means devotees who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love. That means who does continuous engagement? It is only through love. You see, mother doing continuous services. Why? Out of love towards the children. Doesn't she do? Don't we experience it? We experience that. That means it is there, dear devotees. You can see the presence of pure devotion in this life also, in this world, through examples of like mother, very beautiful examples. So what is that? They simply do it for the pleasure of their children. That means the love is there, the manifestation is there. Because she has no expectation. She wants to serve the children out of love. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. When that love is expanded further towards the Lord by the words of the Acharyas, that only who are always engaged in the devotional service out of transcendental love does he award the pure knowledge of devotion in love. That means through the engagement of transcendental loving devotional service, one will actually receive the pure knowledge of devotion. That means तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीति तेषां एवानुकंपा अहम अज्ञान जमतमः नास्याम आत्मभावस्य ज्ञान दीपेन भास्वतः. That ज्ञान दीपेन भास्वतः is actually being given to us as the mercy through our unalloyed engagement in transcendental loving service in love to the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, as per the words of the spiritual master, is a pathway to the spiritual world. That's what I told you always. I told all of you that second chapter is the essence of the Gita. Means you will get the essence of what Gita, what Krishna wanted to tell Arjuna. That means within 4 or 5 minutes, Krishna told the essence. Because the second chapter is like 70 slokas. Krishna will take 5 minutes to tell, 5 to 10 minutes to tell the sloka. Just by telling the sloka, Arjuna will understand. That means Krishna is telling the shloka in Sanskrit. Arjuna is understanding. He's asking questions. Krishna is addressing also. Everything within 5 minutes, Jnana Deepena Bhaswata is established. Now that is the whole point why the entire Gita is summarized in this chapter. Because Krishna wants to give that solace to Arjuna first before he tells more details. That means he's going into the details. Just like if you come to a home, the devotees they'll tell this is the prasad. They will give the overview. This is what you will be fed. That means you'll get the essence. Arey Bapre, this is beautiful. That means you have that homely how you have that homely feeling. You're not at home, but you're feeling that you're at home. They will get set there, they will put you in a very good place. You'll be settled down. And then they will tell a few details. Through that details, you'll understand, this is great. Then you go into the details one by one. This is what exactly Krishna is doing to Arjuna. Krishna is telling all the intricacies, all the fine intricacies on a high level. And Prabhupada is so merciful, right? Acharya, Krishna is merciful, but Acharyas are even more merciful. Through their mercy, they disclose everything. Because what are they disclosing? They are disclosing Krishna's heart. That is what is Gita. How that's how it is manifested. So slowly, what is happening, dear devotees, is the communion, and we'll discuss more about this. The communion, how the purity in one's consciousness can be can come to that state of that experience where we can experience the presence of this super soul in one's heart. We'll discuss that. Because it is important. We should understand this. Practically we should know. Then we should understand where we are, what is blocking us. This Kama Krodha Lobha Moha Madhavatsara is blocking us so much. On the other side, Lord is ready to give that association. On the middle, pure, the spiritual master, the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, they wanted to help us so much. Srila Prabhupada wanted to help us so much. That's the whole point of writing this great literature. Are you will not find any literature like this. Because this person is not an ordinary person. He's not Tom, Dick, Harry. It directly came from the spiritual world, Goloka. You'll not find personalities coming from Goloka giving us lecture. No, Prabhupada is giving. Prabhupada has expand. He has so much devotion. Please understand, a person coming from there and telling about there is not an ordinary thing. First shloka of Bhagavatam also reveals the same. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kave Muyanti Yatsu Tejo Vari Mudam Yata Minimum Yatratsango Misha Dhamma Svena Sada Nirasakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. That means the spiritual world has everything. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhamma Svena Sada Nirasakuhakam. That Dhama, what is that Dhama? That Dhama is a Goloka Dhama. And you all belong to that Dhama. If you are getting connected more to the science of Krishna consciousness, you understand. You don't belong here, you belong there. You don't get that inspiration. Then there is some problem with us. There is some problem in the hearing, or you don't belong there. You belong to some other place. Very important. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions? Would like to add anything? Like to share anything? Dear word is very important. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuham, because that spiritual word is always blissful experience, full of knowledge, full of intelligence. They are pure. These anarthas, we don't have those anarthas in the spiritual realm. But to understand that consciousness, we should come to the state of communion through upward submission. It's very vital. Correct. Anyone would like to add anything? Like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. You mentioned so many wonderful points today. Prabhuji, so in the second chapter, Krishna is explaining all the summary to Arjuna, and you made a wonderful allegory that it's like making one person comfortable with everything and then going into the details. So in this second chapter, so the whole summary is given, and then in the remaining chapters we see like the middle chapters 7 to 12 or 13 is the main bhakti yoga, right? So it's when we divide Bhagavad Gita into three, it is said that the bhakti yoga is in the middle, karma yoga is in the first 6 chapters, and the last six chapters are the Jnana Yoga. So, so is second chapter included in the Karma Yoga, or is it actually telling us about Bhakti Yoga?
Second chapter is also telling us Bhakti. Prabhupada mentions multiple times. Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. So if we understand, yes, for division 1 to 6, 6 to 12, 13 to 18, for demarcation can divide in a way which is dominant. But if you actually see, chapter 1 through 18 speaks about devotional service. If you understand, because Prabhupada at times, even in our sloka which we just discussed, Prabhupada says, Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. What does that mean? I always have had this question. Prabhupada actually mentions here, where he says, Buddhi Yoga and Bhakti Yoga also sometimes. Here it's telling, right? It's a Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So what does that means is, when that Bhakti, when that Buddhi, when that Buddhi or intelligence is coming or understanding to know the glories of the Lord and to do transcendental loving service to Him, that Buddhi Yoga is also becoming Bhakti Yoga. That means, in a way, the aspect of Buddhi Yoga is what? Intelligence, the knowledge, the intelligence in one state. There is Buddhi Yoga also. What is Buddhi Yoga? Yoga means connecting to the Lord. That means that intelligence which is connecting to the Lord is called as Buddhi Yoga. That means when you do something for the pleasure of the Lord, that becomes eventually becomes Bhakti Yoga. Yes, that is a explanation of Prabhupada. That eventually becomes Bhakti Yoga because that Buddhi in one state is becoming Bhakti through relation, through devotion. That is how the communion is established. Because we need to understand how is this communion between the soul and the super soul is established? Through Buddhi. And through Buddhi, what do you do? Bhakti. And through that Bhakti, what is established? Their mercy is invoked. Through that mercy, what is happening? The communion between the soul and the super soul is established. That means you do everything which is in congenial with Krishna consciousness only. That is an advanced state. We don't do anything else. We just do that. That means there's no state of Mishra Bhakta. The state of Mishra Bhakta is completely vanquished. Because what does Mishra Bhakta do? He does bhakti sometimes, he does bhukti sometimes. That means he does sense gratification, he does devotional service. That is Mishra. But this is no longer Mishra state. Because through that buddhi, what is happening? Bhakti is manifesting. That means technically in the second chapter, Arjuna surrendering to Krishna. What is that? That is bhakti only. Arjuna is not surrendering to something else. He's surrendering to Supreme Personality of Godhead. That submission is what? It's a pure devotion. That's an aspect of pure devotion. To establish pure consciousness. That means second chapter. See, when a devotee is telling, everything is bhakti only. Don't we see bhakti in chapter 1? See bhakti. No doubt it is knowledge, but the knowledge, when we actually go into the details, it is bhakti. Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, when he's separating, Mamaka, Pandavascheva, differentiation, separating. What is that separation? That separation is showing that raga is pulling him. But when we see the same raga coming into the heart of Arjuna, what is he doing? The raga is there in the heart of Dhritarashtra, but what is it? He's not doing anything. But when the heart is there, when the raga is there, the raga came into the consciousness of Arjuna, what is he doing? His hands are shivering. He submitted to the Lord. He says, "Oh, my dear Lord, I don't know what am I doing. You please help." What is this? This is submission. What is this submission? This is bhakti. You see, karma yoga. Yes, definitely karma yoga. But what karma yoga will come? For example, I'll tell an example. I think last month the devotee was asking, what is the best example of a karma yoga? Are a best example of karma yoga? Karma yoga means what? You are doing an activity. Karma means activity. What is karma? You go to office, that is karma. That means you get some karma through that. because you're doing an activity. Let's say you got 100K. Or 50K you gave the service of the Lord. Service of the spiritual master. 50K you gave. 1 second. I'll switch off the video and speak. 50K you gave in the service of the Lord. That means initially it was karma. Now that karma is transformed into yoga. Karma yoga. Because you're doing an action for the pleasure of spiritual master and the Lord. That becomes karma yoga. Through that karma yoga, what is happening? Eventually you'll understand what bhakti is. Understand? That karma yoga, what is it karma yoga doing? Karma yoga is taking us to bhakti yoga only. That means all the limbs which are actually there, which are being addressed by the Lord, is actually addressing bhakti only. No doubt, just like you demarcated, differentiated middle chapters are bhakti, later chapters are knowledge, initial chapters are karma. Okay, that is differentiation is there. But later chapters also, through that knowledge also, what is it coming? Bhakti is only coming. Because through that knowledge, what is coming? Sarvadharman Parityajya is coming at the end. What is the Sarvadharman Parityajya? Who surrenders? Only devotee surrenders. Nobody will surrender. What is that indicating? Bhakti yoga. That means what are all these limbs indicating? All these limbs are supporting what? Which is the core of the heart, which is bhakti. That's why Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness. That's why you see in every line, in every chapter, you see Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says consciousness. Who does Krishna consciousness? A Jnani does Krishna consciousness? No. A Karma Yoga does Krishna consciousness? No. Only Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga. Only that person will do Krishna consciousness. That means all of these limbs are showing what? All of these limbs are connecting us into that state only, which is pure devotion. Making sense, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada in every purport, even when they're talking about Ashtanga Yoga or Shat Chakra Yoga, Srila Prabhupada always brings it back to Bhakti Yoga. But there are verses that are focused on Brahman realization,
Correct.
Paramatma realization,
Correct.
everything.
Correct. Definitely. क्लेशो अधिकरस्तेषम अव्यक्तासक्त चेसताम अव्यक्त ही गतिर दुःखम. Krishna is telling. Arjuna is asking that question. Why Krishna told that? Because Arjuna asked the question. Arjuna is asking which one is better, impersonal realization or bhakti. Then Krishna says, Kleshoadikarasesha. The process of impersonalism is also okay, but that is very difficult. So Krishna says, you do bhakti. That means even through that also, Krishna is again coming into that communion. So they want to show what is the essence. Definitely we have verse, we have shlokas. We have Klesha Adhikarasya, which talks about impersonalism. But through that impersonalism also, Bhakti Yoga is highlighted. That is the essence, right? From where you are hearing is important. That is the whole part of Guru Parampara. If Guru Parampara is not there, then we will be baffled to understand all of these 18 chapters. Because in one chapter you will see Bhakti, in one chapter you will see Jnana, one chapter you will see Dhyana, one chapter you will see Sankhya. Which one to do? You have no idea what to do. That's why Acharyas, the spiritual masters in one's life is very important. Through them only we understand what is the essence of everything. Because through that process only we can surrender. Otherwise, a person who has doubts, he cannot surrender. The spiritual master, what he does is he removes the doubts. Actually, we'll discuss more about this because there's more to discuss on this. But on an overall, have you understood, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you all very much. I think I'll stop here. If I caused an inconvenience, please excuse me. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Ciao. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today is the disappearance day of Srivas Pandit, Srivas Acharya. So he's one of the Panchatattvas. So let's sing a bhajan to worship him with Srivas Ashtakam. This bhajan is in Sanskrit and it's called Srivas Ashtakam, 8 verses to worship Srivas Pandit, Srivas Thakur, one of the Panchatatvas. We discussed yesterday that Srivas is the incarnation of Narada Muni. Ashrayami Sri Srivasam Tamadyam Panditam Muda Suklambaradharam Gauram Gaurabhakti Pradayakam Sri Gaurasya Navadvipa Lila Kirtana Sampadi Yapadan Tayakayata Sasri Vasogatir Mama Sri Gaura Kirtana Nando Putra Sakopina Sprata Yam Srivasam Bhaktam Rajam Tam Namami Puna Puna Adau Vasastu Sri Hate Bhagiratyastate Tata Kumara Hate Yasyasit Same Gaura Gatir Gati Srivasa Sripatis Chaiva Srinidhis Cheti Satama Srivasa Brataro Gyeya Srivasam Nami Tatvaram Pura Naratarupena Harinama Shuddha Jare Yo Jagat Plavayam Asa Si Sasri Vasodhuna Gati Yatpatani Malini Devi Sri Gauranga Mato Sayat Swahastapaka Bhaktadyai Sasri Vasogatir Mama Pativat Gauranga Gatir Malini Gauda Vishruta Tadpada Padma Savide Pranatir Me Sahasrasha Sri Chaitanya Priyatma Vande Sri Vasa Panditam Yatkarunyakataksena Sri Gaurangiratir Bhave Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Srivas Pandit ki jai, Srivas Thakur ki jai. So let's read the translation. I take shelter of Sri Srivasa and the joyful Pandits led by him. He is clad in white cloth, has a golden complexion, and is a giver of devotion for Gaura, who is famous for being absorbed in Kirtan in Sri Gaura's Navadvipa Leela. This Srivasa is my goal, who was unaffected as his son died amidst Sri Gaura's bliss of Kirtan. To this Srivasa, the king among devotees, I offer obeisances again and again. Who first lived in Sri Hata on the banks of Bhagirathi, and then in Kumarahata, he is the goal of my Gaura's life. To the one who was the foremost among Srivas, Sripati, and Srinidhi, to Srivasa, the eldest of the brothers, I offer my obeisances. Who was a river of nectar of Harinama in the past in Narada's form, and who makes the world the world swim in it This Srivasa is now my goal, whose wife Malini Devi pleased Sri Gauranga by cooking for the devotees with her own hands. This Srivasa is my goal. Malini attained Gaura as her master. So it is said in the Gauda, at her lotus feet I offer obeisances in thousandfold. Obeisances to Srivas Pandit, the dearest of Sri Chaitanyas, with whose compassionate glance love for Sri Gauranga awakens. Srivas Pandit ki jai. Every day when we say Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this is that Srivas Panchatattva whose disappearance day is today. So let's pay obeisances to this great personality and beg for his mercy because he is the bestower of love for Lord Gauranga or Krishna. Thank you so much. Let's please request Karina Mataji to lead us in Prem Dhani prayers. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Karina Mataji, are you able to do Prem Dhani prayers today? Can anybody hear me?
Yes. Hear you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
All
Maybe
right.
my
Okay, then I can continue. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pravijacharya Ashtottara Shata Abhay Charanaravindha. His divine grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
yeah,
ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
yeah,
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parvijacharya Ashtottara Shata His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki
yeah,
jai. Aneka Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
yeah,
jai. नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की
yeah,
जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय.
yeah,
वृंदावन धाम की जय.
yeah,
पूर धाम की जय. जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय.
yeah,
द्वारका धाम की जय.
yeah,
गंगा माई यमुना माई की
yeah,
जय. भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की
yeah,
जय. समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय. हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की
yeah,
जय. श्रीवास पंडित तिरोभाव दिवस की जय. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadharine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुपश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो namo namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, have an amazing Krishna conscious Thursday. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bo. Grace from Shilas Prabhuji ki jai. Grace Neelgovind Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
Saraswati Mataji, Karina Mataji, Rachna Mataji, Veena Mataji, all devotees ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Prabhuji. Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Subala Gopal Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your wonderful service every day. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.